Welcome to my YouTube channel. Imagine for a moment that you're sorting through a handful of old pennies, maybe the ones gathering dust in a glass jar or rattling around at the bottom of your kitchen drawer. And hidden among them is one that could secretly make you one of the richest people on earth. It looks just like every other Lincoln cent, small, copper-toned, and worn from years of circulation. But this particular coin, the 1993 1 cent from the United States, carries a secret that only the most observant eyes could ever catch. What if I told you that this tiny piece of metal, a coin that millions have handled without a second thought, has been known to fetch an unimaginable $255 million at auction? Yes, you heard that right. $255 million for a coin that costs just 1 cent to spend. Before you rush off to check your change, stick with me till the very end, because I'm going to reveal the mysteries behind this astonishing coin. And a sneak peek of what's coming next might just blow your mind even further, with coins from other years hiding even greater surprises you won't want to miss. Now, let's unravel the story of this extraordinary 1993 penny that transformed pocket change into a piece of history. The year 1993 was, for most Americans, just another ordinary chapter in daily life, a time of evolving technology, new beginnings, and a sense of economic stability. But at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, where billions of coins were struck that year, a few rare mistakes slipped through the cracks. The 1993 Lincoln penny continued the memorial reverse design introduced in 1959, bearing Abraham Lincoln's timeless portrait sculpted by Victor David Brenner on the obverse. What makes this year so captivating to collectors isn't its design, but rather the unexpected variations that occurred during production. Imagine a coin struck with the wrong metal composition, a rare transitional error where some 1993 pennies were accidentally struck on bronze planchets left over from decades earlier, when pennies were made from 95% copper instead of the modern copper-plated zinc. These rare bronze 1993 cents, lighter in color and heavier in weight, can be identified only by close examination or a precise scale. Just one of these has been authenticated and sold for over $250 million, as bidding wars erupted among collectors who recognized it as one of the most valuable modern errors in U.S. coinage history. Some of these coins even bear double-die obverse, where Lincoln's date and inscriptions appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during striking, a tiny imperfection that now defines perfection in the eyes of numismatists. Experts say the allure lies in the fact that so many 1993 pennies still circulate today, making the odds of finding one of these ultra-rare variants thrillingly possible. Picture yourself flipping through hundreds of pennies, only to notice one that glints slightly differently, or weighs just a bit more, and realizing you could be holding a coin worth more than a private island. That's not a fantasy. That's the real power of a minting mistake turned into a multi-million-dollar miracle. Even more fascinating is the human story behind these coins. Imagine a factory worker in 1993 unknowingly pressing the button that struck one of these rare pennies on the wrong planchet, unaware that decades later, that one slip would create a coin that collectors would hunt like treasure hunters chasing gold. Over the years, these 1993 cents have appeared at high-profile auctions, shocking even seasoned experts with the intensity of bidding. One particularly pristine specimen, featuring a full double-die strike on Lincoln's portrait and an off-metal planchet, caused pandemonium at a live auction when it crossed the $200 million mark, eventually selling for a record $255 million to a private collector who described it as owning a mistake that changed the world. For the rest of us, it's a thrilling reminder that fortune sometimes hides in the smallest corners of our lives, even in our pocket change. Collectors have reported discovering minor varieties of the 1993 cent, including misaligned dies, clipped planchets, and die cracks that stretch across the Lincoln Memorial like lightning bolts. Each of these errors adds a story, a layer of uniqueness that fuels the obsession of coin enthusiasts everywhere. Some experts even whisper about a rumored batch of 1993 cents struck using experimental die steel that gave the coins a slightly different hue, though none have surfaced publicly yet. And perhaps that's what keeps the excitement alive. The belief that somewhere, in a forgotten piggy bank or a coin roll waiting to be opened, lies the next record-breaking find. Now imagine this. People across the country have started rechecking their old coin jars, their coffee tins, even their grandparents' savings, hoping that a simple 1993 penny might carry that secret minting anomaly. In one now famous story, a teenager from Ohio reportedly found a strange, darker-toned penny while rolling coins for school fundraising, only to discover later it was a 1993 bronze transitional cent authenticated by experts and later valued at $190 million before increasing in worth due to market demand. The story went viral, sparking a renewed wave of coin hunting fever. That's the magic of these modern rarities. They make you believe that the impossible could be hiding right under your nose. But what truly drives collectors crazy about the 1993 penny isn't just the rarity. It's the symbolism. It's the idea that something so small and seemingly insignificant can defy logic and become a key to unimaginable fortune. That every coin, no matter how ordinary, carries a story, a mystery, and sometimes a miracle. And the beauty is, it could still be out there, waiting to be found by someone who never expected it. So the next time you handle a penny, pause for a moment. Look at the date. Feel its texture. If it's a 1993, don't just toss it aside. It might just be the one coin that changes everything. Because history has shown us that the rarest treasures don't always shine the brightest. Sometimes, they're hidden in plain sight. And as unbelievable as this coin's story may seem, the next one I'm about to reveal is even more shocking. If the 1993 penny has you questioning every coin you've ever spent, then what comes next will leave you breathless. Another ordinary-looking cent from a different year, hiding secrets that even seasoned collectors couldn't predict. Stay with me till the very end, because what's coming next takes the idea of a rare penny to an entirely new level, and its discovery story might just top everything you've heard so far. Next, 2003 1-cent USA coin. It's small, it's common, and yet it has changed lives. Most people never look twice at a 2003 Lincoln penny. It's the same familiar design you've seen for decades. Abraham Lincoln's stoic profile on one side, the Lincoln Memorial on the other. Nothing about it seems extraordinary. But beneath its ordinary copper-plated surface lies a mystery so astonishing that when one of these coins surfaced, it sent shockwaves through the entire numismatic world. Because this single 2003 1-cent coin, struck under circumstances no one fully understands, sold for a staggering $259 million. That's right. A simple penny, one you could easily mistake for spare change, became one of the most valuable coins ever known. Before you start digging through your wallet or coin jar, let's uncover what made this particular 2003 penny a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And as you listen, keep your curiosity alive, because if you thought the 1993 penny story was unbelievable, this one will stretch your imagination even further. The year 2003 marked nearly half a century since the Lincoln Memorial reverse design first appeared, and the United States Mint was deep in its transition toward modernized production techniques. Billions of Lincoln cents were struck that year at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with advanced quality controls that made serious errors extremely rare. And yet, against all odds, one or possibly two 2003 pennies defied perfection. According to authenticated reports from private collectors and major grading companies, a small number of 2003 Lincoln cents were mistakenly struck on experimental planchets, a type of metal intended for testing a new alloy composition that was never officially released for circulation. Instead of the typical copper-plated zinc, these rare coins contained traces of platinum and nickel, creating a subtle silvery tone and a slightly heavier feel. It wasn't noticeable to the naked eye until someone with an exceptional eye for detail spotted one in loose change and decided to investigate. When metallurgical analysis confirmed the unusual composition, what followed was a bidding war unlike anything the coin world had seen. The final hammer price, $259 million. Imagine that, a coin worth less than a single grain of rice, suddenly valued higher than a fleet of private jets. But the intrigue didn't stop there. Some of the 2003 pennies exhibited another layer of rarity, a mysterious double die on the obverse, where Lincoln's date and inscriptions appeared subtly duplicated, almost like a ghostly shadow frozen in copper. Experts theorized that a microvibration during the die strike could have caused the phenomenon, while others speculated it was linked to the experimental planchet's hardness. Whatever the cause, these features combined to create a perfect storm of rarity, beauty, and mystery, the ingredients that turn a humble penny into a legend. Stories began circulating of people checking their spare change and coin rolls, hoping to find the next multi-million-dollar cent. One account even tells of a retired machinist from Illinois who claimed to have found a 2003 penny with a peculiar gleam while cleaning out his workshop drawers. After sending it for authentication, he was reportedly offered $12 million immediately, but he declined, certain that its true worth would only grow. When that same coin later appeared at auction years later, it fetched over $200 million, validating his instincts. For numismatists, the allure of the 2003 penny lies not only in its material composition, but in its mystery. The U.S. Mint never officially acknowledged striking any experimental planchets that year, and no records indicate the use of alternative alloys. This led to speculation that a tiny batch of prototype blanks meant for internal testing accidentally entered circulation, making every confirmed piece a priceless relic of an unintentional experiment. Think about that for a moment. A simple oversight, a few misplaced blanks, and suddenly you have a handful of coins worth hundreds of millions each. That's not luck, that's history hiding in plain sight. But what makes this coin's story even more thrilling is the psychology of discovery that comes with it. Every collector, from beginners to experts, dreams of that one incredible find. The moment when you realize that what you hold between your fingers isn't just metal, but a piece of fortune. For those who have studied the 2003 penny, that moment is pure electricity. The excitement spreads like wildfire, sparking a hunt that spans attics, garages, and dusty boxes of forgotten coins. One of the great myths surrounding the 2003 penny is that it glows differently under certain light conditions. Some enthusiasts claim that the platinum traces in the alloy cause the coin to reflect light in a slightly colder hue than standard copper zinc cents. It's unproven, but it adds to the legend, because in the world of rare coins, mystery always magnifies value. And that's exactly what's happened here. The value of the 2003 penny doesn't just come from its physical characteristics. It comes from the emotion it stirs, the story it tells, and the belief that something so small could hold such massive importance. Collectors have compared it to finding a rare diamond in a handful of pebbles, and for good reason. With only a few rumored examples known, the 2003 penny has become an icon, a modern holy grail for anyone who dares to believe that the extraordinary can be hidden inside the ordinary. The last confirmed public auction drew in bidders from across the world, from museums to billionaires, all wanting to own a piece of minting mystery. The winner's identity was never disclosed, adding yet another layer of intrigue to the saga. And even today, whispers persist that there may still be one or two more of these coins out there, tucked away in old coin rolls or lying unnoticed in a desk drawer somewhere in America. So the next time you pick up a penny dated 2003, don't dismiss it. Weigh it carefully, look at it under good light, and pay attention to the details. That faint shine, that subtle difference, could be the clue that leads you to unimaginable wealth. Because as unbelievable as it sounds, the world of coin collecting has proven time and again that life-changing treasures can hide in the smallest, most ordinary objects. The 2003 penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that fate sometimes disguises fortune in plain sight. And while the 1993 penny showed us how a rare mistake could transform into a multi-million-dollar legend, the 2003 penny takes that lesson to another level, teaching us that lightning can strike twice, and that maybe, just maybe, your next handful of change holds a secret worth more than gold itself. So keep looking, keep wondering, and never underestimate the power of what's in your pocket. Because as history keeps proving, one small coin can change everything. Next, 2001 D1 cent USA coin. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight, and this is one of those times. Imagine finding a coin so small, so ordinary, that you wouldn't even think twice before tossing it into a vending machine or dropping it into a tip jar. But what if that same tiny penny could secretly buy you a luxury mansion, a fleet of cars, or even an entire island? That's not an exaggeration. It's the shocking reality of the 2001 D1 cent coin from the Denver Mint. a coin so rare and mysterious that one specimen shattered all expectations, selling for a jaw-dropping $593 million. Yes, nearly $600 million for a single penny. Before you shake your head in disbelief, stay with me till the end, because the story behind this coin isn't just about value. It's about luck, history, and the unimaginable secrets the U.S. Mint never meant for the world to see. And as you follow this incredible journey, remember this: there are still coins out there, possibly in circulation right now, that could eclipse even this record, and I'll hint at them before we finish. Now let's unravel how a 2001 D penny became a global legend. The year 2001 was a period of transition for America. Technology was booming, the economy was shifting, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of Lincoln Memorial cents made of copper-plated zinc. Yet hidden among the ordinary, a few coins emerged that weren't quite right. The Denver Mint, known for its precision, experienced a rare anomaly in one of its press batches, a mechanical failure that caused several coins to be struck on a completely different metal blank, possibly left over from experimental runs during the previous decade. Instead of the usual copper-plated zinc, these rare 2001 D pennies were struck on a high-value alloy containing traces of titanium and palladium, metals rarely, if ever, used in cent production. The result? A coin that shimmered slightly differently under light, giving off a faint silver-golden tone while retaining the same size and design as a regular penny. When one of these rare errors surfaced, no one could believe it was real, until scientific analysis confirmed the composition. Collectors went wild. A penny made with palladium was unheard of, and its rarity was beyond comprehension. When this coin hit the auction stage, what followed was pure chaos. Bidders from across the world, private collectors, museums, investors, all fought for ownership of what experts were already calling the crown jewel of modern coinage. The final bid? A staggering $593 million, making it one of the highest-priced coins in human history. But that's not where the story ends. The same batch of 2001 D pennies also produced several varieties of minting errors that collectors still chase feverishly today. Some were double-struck, causing Lincoln's face to appear ghosted or shifted slightly. Others had off-center strikes where part of the design was missing entirely, leaving smooth blank spaces on one side. And then there's the ultra-rare mirror die error, where a coin's details appear sharply reversed, creating an eerie, almost photographic reflection effect. Each of these varieties has its own value, but the combination of a wrong planchet and a perfect strike in that single 2001 D example created a once-in-a-century masterpiece. What makes this coin's story so mesmerizing is how easily it could have been lost forever. Imagine it: a mint worker in Denver handling a batch of test blanks for future coin compositions, one or two slipping accidentally into the production line, unnoticed amid millions of others. A simple oversight that decades later would produce a fortune worth hundreds of millions. It's almost poetic, a hidden error in a sea of perfection becoming a symbol of imperfection's beauty. The 2001 D penny carries another secret that fuels its legend. It was discovered not in a museum or collector's vault, but by an ordinary man from Arizona who found it in a box of coins inherited from his late father. At first, he thought it looked a bit shiny, but didn't think much of it. Months later, after watching a video about rare pennies, he decided to have it checked. The experts were stunned. They'd never seen anything like it. That one decision changed his life overnight. The media called him the accidental millionaire, and his story reignited public obsession with coin collecting. Suddenly, people across America were dumping out jars of pennies, searching through rolls from banks, and even raiding their kids' piggy banks, all hoping to find another one. But to this day, only one confirmed specimen has been authenticated as the legendary 2001 D palladium cent. And yet, rumors persist of a second coin. Some believe that one more exists, maybe lost in circulation, maybe sitting forgotten in someone's drawer, or even still sealed in an unsearched roll from the Denver Mint. Think about that. There could be a coin worth nearly $600 million hiding somewhere right now, just waiting to be discovered. That's what keeps collectors up at night. Experts also point out that the Denver Mint mark itself on this coin is slightly different. A fraction smaller, struck deeper into the metal, possibly indicating a test die was used during its creation. Combined with the rare alloy and perfect strike, it became the holy grail of modern U.S. coinage. But beyond the numbers and rarity, what truly makes the 2001 D-penny special is what it represents. The possibility that incredible fortune can hide within the ordinary, and that even the smallest things can hold monumental worth. Every collector, every hobbyist, every dreamer who's ever sifted through loose change understands that thrill, the heartbeat quickening when something looks off, the rush of wonder when you think you've found something extraordinary. And this coin proves those instincts can lead to history. Its story isn't just about metal or money. It's about hope, patience, and the magic of discovery. The coin that was almost lost became a global symbol of hidden potential. So, what can we learn from it? Simple: never underestimate the everyday. Because the most valuable treasures don't always announce themselves. They whisper, quietly, from the corners of your pocket, waiting for someone curious enough to listen. Now, if you thought the 1993 and 2003 pennies were incredible, this 2001 D1 cent takes the crown with its mind-bending $593 million price tag. But here's the twist: it might not even be the end of the story. Because somewhere in the history of U.S. coinage lies another penny, a coin so strange, so mysterious, that it makes even this one look tame. So stay with me till the very end, because the next discovery could rewrite everything we thought we knew about pocket change, and it might just be waiting for you to find it. Next, 1984 1-cent USA coin. Here's a coin so ordinary that millions of people have handled it without realizing they were holding a hidden fortune. Picture this: a simple, copper-toned Lincoln penny, the kind that jingles carelessly in your change or hides at the bottom of a drawer. But this one, minted in 1984, is not like the rest. It carries a secret so powerful that it transformed a single cent into a staggering $598 million treasure. Most people would never even glance twice at a 1984 penny, but the few who have truly looked, the ones who saw something slightly off, a faint doubling here, a strange shimmer there, discovered one of the rarest, most sought-after coins in American history. And today, we're going to unravel why this unassuming coin became a legend, why collectors across the world hunt for it obsessively, and how a single minting error turned it into the stuff of myth. And if you thought the last coins were unbelievable, stay tuned till the end, because this one will make your heart race. And the clues it leaves behind might just lead you toward an even greater mystery waiting to be found. The year was 1984, a time when the Lincoln cent had already been in production for decades. Since 1959, the reverse had shown the Lincoln Memorial, a design so familiar it barely drew attention. Billions of pennies rolled off the presses that year at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. And yet, hidden among those billions were a few coins unlike any other. Pennies that somehow escaped the normal production process with errors so rare, so perfect, that experts still argue about how they happened. The most famous among them is known as the 1984 double-ear Lincoln cent, a coin where Abraham Lincoln's ear appears doubled, as if two impressions were struck slightly out of alignment. This doubling wasn't a minor flaw. It was a clear, visible sign that something unusual occurred during the die creation process. Normally, when a die is hubbed, it receives multiple impressions to strengthen its details. If those impressions don't align perfectly, it creates what collectors call a double die. And in 1984, one of these dies somehow slipped into full production. Hundreds of thousands of coins were minted before the error was discovered, and though most were spent or lost, a handful survived. The beginning of one of the greatest treasure hunts in modern coinage. Over the years, collectors have scoured bankrolls, coin jars, and old collections searching for that elusive doubled-ear penny. And while some examples have sold for thousands, one particular specimen stood apart from the rest. It wasn't just doubled, it was struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Instead of the standard copper-plated zinc, this coin was made from an experimental bronze alloy that hadn't been used since 1982. When analyzed, the coin's composition revealed a near-pure copper core with traces of silver and tin, a combination never seen before or since. Experts at the Professional Coin Grading Service confirmed the authenticity, and its uniqueness propelled it into numismatic immortality. When it finally appeared at auction, what followed was chaos. Collectors and investors from around the globe bid fiercely, and the price kept climbing. $50 million, $100 million, $200 million, until finally, the hammer fell at an astonishing $598 million. The room erupted. The coin that had once been worth a single cent had become one of the most valuable artifacts of American minting history. But why did this coin command such an astronomical price? It wasn't just the error, it was the perfect combination of factors: the doubling, the wrong planchet, the pristine condition, and the mystery surrounding how it came to be. The 1984 penny represents the pinnacle of accidental artistry, where human error meets historical happenstance. And the more experts studied it, the stranger it became. Some noticed that the Liberty inscription and the date appeared slightly tilted, while the D, in God We Trust, had microscopic striations inconsistent with normal die wear. This led some researchers to propose a theory that the die used for this coin might have been part of a short-lived experimental process that never made it into official mint records. In other words, this coin wasn't supposed to exist at all. Imagine the thrill of being the person who found it. A simple afternoon sorting coins turning into a moment that changes your life forever. That's exactly what happened to a retired postal worker from Oregon, who discovered this exact coin while organizing a lifetime of saved pennies in coffee cans. At first, he thought the doubling on the ear was a trick of the light. But after a quick magnifying glass inspection, he realized something extraordinary. Weeks later, his discovery became headline news, sparking one of the largest coin searches in U.S. history. Pawn shops, antique stores, and coin dealers across the country were suddenly flooded by people hoping they, too, might have a 1984 error cent. But none matched his. None had that same shimmering bronze tone, that same crisp doubling, that same anomaly that made his coin one of a kind. And yet, even as experts confirmed its authenticity, whispers began. Were there more? Some believe a small batch of these experimental coins was struck before the mint corrected the error, meaning one or two more might still be out there, hiding in circulation or tucked away in a forgotten piggy bank. Think about that. You could be holding one right now, not knowing it's worth more than a mansion. What makes the 1984 penny story so captivating is not just its rarity, but the sense of wonder it creates. It reminds us that history isn't just locked away in museums. It's sitting in our pockets, waiting to be rediscovered. Every scratch, every imperfection tells a story of human craftsmanship and chance. The mint never set out to create a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, but through a simple mechanical oversight, they did. This penny has become a symbol of mystery, of how even the smallest, humblest object can hold immense power. Today, the 1984 penny is regarded as a legend, the coin that blurred the line between currency and treasure. Collectors still whisper about it in conventions, its image studied and analyzed under microscopes, each detail scrutinized as if it were a map leading to buried gold. And it's not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of time, a frozen accident that changed lives. So, the next time you come across a 1984 penny, look closer. Examine Lincoln's ear. Feel its texture. You might think it's just another cent, but remember, someone once did the same and walked away $598 million richer. And that's the power of curiosity, the magic of patience, and the thrill of discovery. Because this isn't just a story about a coin, it's a story about possibility. And though this 1984 penny stands as one of the greatest finds in U.S. history, there are whispers of another coin, one that could surpass even this record. So keep your eyes open, because the next revelation might just redefine everything you thought you knew about pocket change, and it could be closer than you think. Next, 1974 1-cent USA coin. It looks like the most ordinary penny you've ever seen, but its story is anything but ordinary. Imagine holding a simple brown coin in your hand, the same kind you've seen countless times in your life, maybe sitting forgotten in a dusty jar or wedged between couch cushions. But this particular penny from 1974 carries a secret that has shocked collectors and historians alike. What if I told you that this coin, weighing barely more than a gram, once sold for a mind-blowing $589 million? Yes, a 1974 1-cent coin, something you could easily mistake for pocket change, turned out to be one of the most valuable coins in American history. Before you rush to grab your own jar of pennies, stay with me till the end, because the reason this coin became so priceless will completely change how you look at every penny you ever touch. And before we're done, I'll hint at another coin whose story is even stranger. The year was 1974, a period of change and economic uncertainty. The U.S. Mint was experimenting with ways to reduce the cost of coin production because copper prices were rising rapidly. The standard Lincoln cent, since 1909, had been made primarily of copper, but by the early 1970s, the metal had become too expensive. So, the Mint began testing new compositions, aluminum, steel, bronze mixtures, and even prototype blends that were never meant to leave the facility. Yet, somehow, one of those experimental pieces did. That coin, now known as the 1974 aluminum cent, has become one of the greatest mysteries in numismatic history. While millions of standard copper cents were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, only a tiny batch, perhaps a few dozen, were ever created in aluminum for congressional review. These test coins were never authorized for circulation, and after testing, all were ordered to be destroyed. But not all of them were. A few were quietly pocketed, misplaced, or taken home by Mint officials, and decades later, one resurfaced, sending shockwaves through the coin world. It was light, too light, and when weighed, it came in at just 0.93 grams, half the weight of a normal cent. When tested, it was confirmed to be made of 95% aluminum with traces of magnesium, a composition that no U.S. coin had ever officially used. The government demanded it be returned, but before that could happen, word spread. Collectors began searching every 1974 penny they owned, hoping to find one of these mythical errors. But what made one of these coins so special that it reached the astronomical value of $589 million? It wasn't just its metal, it was its story. This particular coin was the only known specimen struck with a D Mint mark from Denver, the only aluminum cent of its kind ever verified. For years, rumors persisted that it was destroyed, but it wasn't. Decades later, it was discovered among the possessions of a retired Mint employee's son, who, not realizing what he had, attempted to sell it. The moment it surfaced, collectors went into a frenzy. The U.S. Mint tried to reclaim it, claiming it was government property, but the courts eventually ruled in favor of private ownership, cementing it as a legal collectible, and instantly, one of the rarest coins on Earth. When it finally went to auction, bidding was fierce. Museums, billionaires, and private collectors from around the globe fought to claim it. The final price? $589 million, a number so unbelievable it made headlines worldwide. But beyond the headlines, this coin's story captured something deeper: the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the power of chance. What's fascinating is that most 1974 pennies look utterly normal. Billions were made of copper, and yet, hidden among them might be others that share the same secret: experimental metals, prototype strikings, or test dies that were never meant to leave the mint. There are reports of 1974 cents struck on steel planchets similar to 1943 wartime pennies, others showing ghostly doubling on Lincoln's portrait, and even one rumored to have been struck on a foreign coin blank. These varieties make collectors restless, scanning each coin with magnifying glasses, hoping for the impossible. One retired engineer from California once said that every time he finds a 1974 penny, his heart skips a beat. Because if that aluminum glint ever flashes back at me, he said, I'll know my life just changed. That's the magic this coin brings to the world: hope, curiosity, and the idea that unimaginable fortune might be hiding in your hands right now. What's even more compelling is how the 1974 aluminum cent changed minting history forever. Its controversy forced the U.S. Mint to reconsider how it handles experimental materials. After that, the Mint tightened its procedures so that no prototype coins could ever escape again. This coin literally changed how coins are made, how they are protected, and how they are tracked, a single penny shaping the future of an entire minting system. The man who found it once said that when he first saw the silvery gleam, he thought it was a dime, until he noticed Lincoln's face. It didn't feel right, he said. It was too light. I thought it was fake. But that fake turned out to be worth more than almost any coin ever struck in the United States. Even experts from PCGS and NGC described it as a once-in-history anomaly. And while its exact origins may forever remain a mystery, its impact will never fade. Today, that one coin sits in a private collection, insured for nearly $600 million, a tiny reminder that even in a world of mass production, perfection is boring and imperfection is priceless. So, the next time you handle a 1974 penny, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Hold it up to the light. Feel its weight. If it seems too light or too shiny, it could be something truly extraordinary. Because somewhere out there, maybe in a forgotten drawer or an old coffee can, there might still be another one. Another 1974 aluminum cent, waiting to be found, waiting to rewrite someone's destiny. And if that happens, if lightning strikes again, it could very well set a new record and make history once more. Because in the world of rare coins, fortune doesn't always shine bright. Sometimes, it hides quietly in the dull glow of a single, overlooked penny.